Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to Kemble!
I'm Joshua Kemble, and welcome to Joshua Kemble's Livestream. I've been a freelance illustrator and graphic designer for over 20 years. I was an art director for 9 years. And when I'm not art directing and working on illustrations and graphic designs, I'm working on comic books and graphic novels, and that's usually what I do during my streams. And while conversations can go all over the place on this stream, from spicy and entertaining to goofy and silly, one thing stays consistent throughout every stream. I'll always be working on art. So pull up a chair, get your art supplies out, and get ready for an entertaining show that'll keep you company while you work on your own personal art projects. This is Joshua Kemble's Art Stream. Hi, welcome. I'm going to be working on comics today. It's been a while since I've live streamed. I've been working on some kind of behind the scenes stuff. One thing, as I've mentioned, just to kind of fill in the gaps while I'm kind of doing the job hunt thing and stuff, I'm going to be taking substitute teaching work. So it was like setting that all up because I long ago got like credentialed for that. So I'm all signed up for stuff for the next like 2 weeks. So that's one thing I've been kind of working on just to make sure we have a steady income stream, and I can continue to focus on Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And then the other thing that I have that has kind of been taking a lot of time, which is a special announcement for this stream, is I'm working on a pitch project. It's just a pitch. It's basically a script at this point that's being put together with my literary agent, who represents both me and this writer. So I'm going to be working with Bill Myers, who is well known. He's a Christian author, a film director, and a film producer. And he's most known for a TV series I used to watch when I was a kid called McGee and Me. And we're working on a very intense script regarding, I can't give away too many details, but I'm going to be working on the pitch pages for that so that we can shop around for a deal and co-create a graphic novel together, because we met in person and had a ton in common. And Bill Myers is an inspirational and really cool guy in person. And we had a lot in common, and we have a lot of similar theological views. And I don't know, it's a cool story. It's not like a Christian story. It's a story that deals with, the most I'll give away at this point is there's a lot of like interdimensional travel and quantum physics and stuff in it, which is really cool. I'm a bit of a science nerd, and it sounds like it's going to be a real challenge to draw. And so I'm really excited about that. But we'll be showing and announcing more of that as the project continues. My literary agent's been on vacation, so like it's likely that she and I are going to look through the script treatment that I did based on Bill's amazing screenplay, which we're breaking into 2 parts, and we're going to pitch it in like as a two book series. And I broke it down and basically did a comic book script where based on it, where I'm basically breaking everything down into panels and panel descriptions. And so that's kind of where we're at on it. But yeah, I mean, Bill's been writing for a really long time. He's also really known for another series of books called The Incredible Worlds of Wally McDougall. There's like a lot of, I mean, he's written over 80 books. So, but he's also sold millions of books, which is kind of amazing. And so I think it'll be a really cool, um, uh, it'll be a really cool project to kind of work on. As Bill is a really seasoned author. And then one thing that I'll say that was really intimidating about it, because Bill's been writing for so long, I was really concerned that, like, my comic script revision wouldn't be that good, because I've never written a script. Like, I've written graphic novels and stuff like that, but I've never written a movie script. And he's written a lot of film scripts, written for television, written novels, written, you name it, and he's written for it. And so I was expecting my treatment of his scripts to go back to him and have just like endless revisions. And there was like a page that came back with like a couple little fixes, and he was really inspired by it. So we're both really excited about the project. He obviously gave me the okay to mention it. I didn't want to mention who I've been working with on this little secret project. But he was on board with the idea of kind of sharing some of the process as we build it. And so look forward to those things coming pretty soon. But that's basically what I've been up to the last few weeks. And then there's some other stuff, like there's a couple places that I'm kind of in the interviewing process with that are pretty exciting too. And so those might work out as well, and we'll kind of see where that goes. But needless to say, I've also, because of all of this, had a lot of time not working on my comic. So it's time to get back to my graphic novel. I am working on page 87, and that's what I plan on doing today. Is I'm going to start doing roughs and kind of comping out pages. And I actually made the mistake of, um, let's see here. Let me make sure I have these things pulled up. I made the mistake of, I thought I had the script pulled up. Oh, I do. Okay, cool. I made the mistake of, basically, I don't even remember what I made the mistake of. I'm pretty tired. But yeah, Jim said the project sounds really promising and amazing. Josh, congrats. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's a really moving script. It's not a kid's story. It's a story that deals a lot with like loss and redemption. But again, not really like, it's not a religious story. It definitely has themes that, talk about like realms of the unknown and stuff that I think will be really cool. It's very much like it's kind of a good transition for me to get into an action thing, because there's a lot more action in it than a lot of my comics. In fact, pretty much all of my comics. I'm not really like an action comics guy yet. But it's also very slice of life. So it's got like a lot of real human elements to it, but it also has, a lot of interdimensional, cool stuff. And so, without revealing too much, I'm really excited about that project. But thanks, Jim. I can't wait. I feel really confident about it. Again, if you've been doing art for a long time, every once in a while projects come and you get really excited about them and nothing comes of them. But at the same time, the fact that he and I both are really pumped about this thing, to me, is a really good sign. So I'm going to be working on that. But let's see what else. Okay, that's what I was going to say. I made the mistake of. So I had made the mistake of not setting up the camera. So let me get my camera stuff all set up. And let me get my photo thing set up so that you guys can kind of see what I'm working on. And I think that'll get us kind of where we need to be. And then let me adjust this too, because it was still kind of set up for Artcasters, which we had a really good Artcasters. The last few Artcasters have been really fun. We had Scott's friend who runs an actual gallery on our last Artcasters. It was amazing. He's a really inspiring guy. and it's kind of like a good reminder for me of like, how sometimes like taking risks is like a good thing. I don't know if I'd ever take the risk of starting a retail shop, because that's just like, that is intensely heavy work to do. For like starting your own gallery, that's insane. I know Jim used to run a gallery, and that would actually might be fun. Jim, maybe we could have an episode where we just talk about your experience running an art gallery. Um, but yeah, but it's still a good reminder of like the idea that like, we're not like in a safety bubble with art, and so like a little bit of risk is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so I need to also pull up the thing, the script. So let's see if I can get that in here. Can I get that in here? Is this like set up yet? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Let's find out. There it is. Okay, I'll just set it up again. Um, so here's the section of script that we're going to be working on roughs for. What I'm going to do too is go ahead and pull this little side panel over so we can kind of see it better. There we go. And I think that'll be visible for you guys. There's been some really funny stuff that I've also been kind of paying attention to a little bit online. So I think I'll talk about that a little bit. Some funny drama. And then we're just going to work on art. And, this probably won't be a stream where I get like a lot of guests on. By the way, listen to Chris. He said, give it a thumbs up. Viper FMG on Twitch said, yo, I'm here. How's it going? Jim also originally made the first post and said, since I'm the only one here right now, am I your only fan? Possibly, Jim. I think we're our biggest fans. I think, yeah. Let's see here. And then let's see. Oh, Christopher Runciman's here and said, I'm a fan too, Jim.com. I love it. So anyhow, so we're gonna work on stuff. I'm gonna be a little rusty because it's been a while since I've done roughs. I've been doing a lot of final pages, and also I've been just kind of scripting and stuff like that. So it might take a little bit to get back into it. I was a little honestly hesitant to even stream because it's just been a while, and I've mentioned this before. The thing with streaming, and I wonder if Christopher's had this. Like, I don't know if Christopher's taken like a day off since he started screaming, since he started screaming all the time. No, streaming. And I wonder if he has this, but I have this a lot where if I stream quite frequently, it's really easy to continue streaming. But the second I've taken a day or so off and I'm like listening to audiobooks or listening to stuff while I'm working creatively, I kind of forget that I enjoy streaming. And then I'll just kind of take like a long time between streams. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Jim was making an OnlyFans joke and it flew right over my head. I love that. That's great. And I will encourage you guys, check out Jim's OnlyFans. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really excited. Yeah, Christopher was saying I plot a regular time each time and maintain it. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I also feel like for me, some of this is just that job transition, like uncertainty on time schedules, and so that kind of messes with my ability to be consistent, which hopefully will start reducing. At least, in the interim while I'm subbing, it's like there's a set schedule. And so like I'll be able to schedule around that times where I can kind of work on comics and stuff like that, and kind of make that happen. But I'm really excited about this project with Bill, and there's a real potential there, I think, for us to get hopefully a really good book deal for it. So hopefully, like, I don't know, there's a lot of irons in the fire, but like it's just kind of like that weird transitionary period in life where who knows which iron will strike, or if none of them strike. I don't know, but I'm feeling pretty confident about a couple leads that are happening. And then I also, on top of this, need to do some illustrations for a client. So there's that, and I might be live streaming while doing those. Who knows? Yeah. But anyhow, so we'll see what happens. There's still some stuff I can't even talk about that I'm a little excited about that are possible, but I don't want to share anything about some of the other stuff that's possible until it's more of like a remotely real possibility. And again, the reason I was okay with even mentioning the Bill Myers thing is he himself has told me that we're cool to share it. And so probably I would guess, I'm thinking my lit agent probably gets back like early next week. And so I would imagine by the end of next week, we should be working on some pitch pages for that as well. So that's the long and short of it. So we're at this point in the script. So now let's get to Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. We're at this point in the script where this is a book we're working on for Turner Publishing, written by Lavender Vroman. And we're at this point in the script where Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett Browning have gone to a magic show at a big opera house in Italy, and now we're going to be returning to Casa Guidi, which is like their little flat or whatever in Italy, and they they basically met Bosco backstage. Elizabeth has basically talked to him about, basically they talk to him backstage. Robert kind of takes off to get a tour by the stage manager, and then we get this intimate conversation where it's revealed that Elizabeth has lost someone who she's kind of hoping these seances and stuff give her contact with. And Bosco was saying, do not lose hope. If your love remains strong, I can only assume that time, absence, even death won't be the end of it, which is kind of sweet. And that's kind of where we left off. And Elizabeth was impressed because we found out that Bosco is a bit of a guy who goes around debunking supernatural stuff, but he said some encouraging stuff to Elizabeth. So now we're going to go back to Casa Guidi in the future, not like in 2020. No, the future, like the next day or two. And we're going to basically have this part of the script. So that's what I've broken down. So let's go ahead and read through the page, and then let's work it out. But luckily, I don't think I have to break down the sequences. And then again, I'm going to be rusty getting back into this, but that's okay. That's kind of part of the jam of cartooning. So, okay, it says inside the Casa Guidi salon, Elizabeth and Sophie. Oh, okay, cool. That is showing. Elizabeth and Sophie, white rose and hair, sit on a sofa. Flush sleeps between them. Flush is their dog. Behind them, Robert and David stand in front of the fireplace in casual conversation. And then sitting on the rug in front of the sofa, Penn and Duady, or Doedy, I don't know how to pronounce that name. That's Sophie, who we met at the party earlier in the graphic novel. So that's her kid. They're now about 4 years old and they're playing a game of marbles. So that's good to know. So I have that listed as that's going to be the first shot. That part in general, it's going to be Casa Guidi Salon, EBB, Sophie on sofa, Flush sleeping between them, Robert and David in front of the fireplace in a convo, and Penn and Duady playing a game of marbles. And I'm imagining that'll be like more of an establishing shot, but the interior, because we're pretty familiar with Casa Guidi at this point in the story, so I don't think I need to show an exterior shot. So then the second panel is going to be this exchange where it says Penn has found a new friend. That's Elizabeth talking about Penn, her kid. And Sophie's going to say, I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company. And then number 3 is going to be a shot of Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Sophie. So the first one, so the second shot, I'm thinking it would be good if it's a close up of Penn and Doherty in the foreground, and then in the background you're going to have Elizabeth and Sophie chatting, having these first 2 exchanges. So shot 3, I think, is going to be Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Sophia, and it's closer up, so it's probably going to be like a mid shot, like from their waists up, like as they're talking, and they're going to say this: "Do you miss Boston?" And then Sophie's going to say, "Not at all. I hope we stay in Italy forever." And then shot number 5 is going to be a close up of Elizabeth and hold on a sec. Let me see here. Was that 3 shots? That was 3 shots. Sorry. Okay. Shot number 4 is going to be Elizabeth and Sophie's text again. And it's going to be saying, that is my feeling too. That's Elizabeth. Sophie's going to say, I heard Mr. Home is in Florence. When we meet in London, I could see you admired him very much. Or when we met in London, I could see you admired him very much. And then Elizabeth that's going to be shot number 5 now, where it's going to be close up on Elizabeth, who's glancing at Robert in the background, who's talking to David, Sophie's husband. And Elizabeth's going to be saying in panel 6, where she's looking back to Sophie, or it might just be a close up of her saying that subject is off limits in our house. So there's the script, there's the panel breakdown. So now what I need to do is a thumbnail. So the first thing I want to thumbnail is, and I have like references pulled up too. So we should be good to go. Luckily, there's not a lot of research we need to do because we've already done a lot of that research. So, okay, where is it? I'm not sure what the dogs are barking at. They're worked up about something. I think my wife might be coming to pick up Bernie to kind of take. So my mom is actually doing like a Disneyland trip or something, so we're feeding her dog. And so she might be coming to get our dog so our dog can play with their dog, but we'll see. That might be what the barks are about. I have no idea. Okay, so there's the salon. There's an image of the salon. We've had to draw this thing like a million times. I love it. Jim was saying, I think the book would be cooler if you gave Robert a really rad earring with a feather on it. I'm just saying. I agree. Or like maybe just some giant hoop earrings for no reason. Yeah, maybe a hoop earring with little ballet slippers dangling from it. I don't know. Or what if just a character just randomly wore ballet slippers for some reason? You know, let's say everything's normal about, or a tutu. How about that? Like, what if just one of the characters, one of the male characters, is just randomly wearing a tutu for no reason? It's not even mentioned. It's just like everything else is historically accurate. And then you have just this guy in a tutu. I like it. Okay. So let's see here. So this is going to be where our establishing shot is. I'm going to have that pulled up so that I can kind of see. I think this was reference for, this is like what I was thinking of having Doherty, I think, look like.
That's our future house is what that is.
Yeah, that's where we're going to live. My wife and I, once we get our indie millions. Once I convince Jim to give me one of his, what's your million net worth, Jim? I feel like Jim's worth at least 8 million on the internet. Let's see here. So Okay, and then this was our reference earlier of what we wanted to have David look like. So we're going to have that pulled up. And then this is an actual picture of Sophie, who is extremely creepy looking.
I want to see what she looks like.
She's very creepy.
She's pretty.
She is pretty.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was beautiful, but she's well, anyhow, the more you read the script, you'll be like, she's a little creepy.
I wish I was beautiful.
I wish I was special, you know. Okay. So then this is costume references, just in case we decide to change it up. And then where was the there's one of Penn. Okay, this is actually Penn, much older than he's gonna be in this. But the catch is that she used to dress Penn in girls' clothing and like style his hair effeminately. Which was like, you know, wouldn't probably be a big deal this day and age, but in the Victorian era, it was like very risque and shocking. But yeah, so anyhow, and then we're gonna have there's our Elizabeth reference, and then I think we have one reference left to pull up, which is Robert reference. So we got Robert. So now we have like enough kind of visual stuff around to kind of help with the thumbnail, but it's just a thumbnail, so we don't need to look at it super heavy in the thumbnailing stage. It's just good to have those there. So we'll start with a little thumbnail of Casa Gaidi Salon, and we'll kind of move from there. So the salon, the first shot, let's see, we got 6 shots. So if I do one wide and then I do something like that, I think that'll work. We're going to break, well, that would only be 5. Okay, so I think what we'll do is 1 wide, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. I think that'll work. Okay. I do like the idea of a wide one though for this shot, because it's going to be the living room. A lot of things going on. Okay, so we're going to have the salon, and let's kind of make that work. So here we go. So we're going to have the salon. They're sitting in the salon on the desk, and then Robert is going to be kind of behind it. Okay, cool. So we're going to have our basically like our couch here. Shoop. And then there's kind of like a table here. Do. And I'm going to draw the environment, and then I'm going to place the characters within that environment, within said environment. So there's some funny drama, by the way, while I'm working on it. I like that. Jim was saying, what about eyeliner and spiky hair? What about just like a cool leather jacket with like flipped up lapel on it? You know what I mean? And every time Robert comes into a room, he's just like bashing into somebody, and he's like, "Hey, watch it there." I don't know what accent that was. That was like a weird semi-Australian. I don't even know what that was. Hey, watch it there, governor. Hey, what about this are you doing there? Okay, so there's some funny drama, and I want to talk about it too online, but I don't know. It's just funny. I think I mentioned that there's a comedian who's kind of a troll and very inappropriate named Dick Masterson online. And he's very politically different than me. Like, I've never agreed with quite a lot of what he does, but he's very funny. He's like one of the funniest guys, like and he's very offensive sometimes. But there was like this weird overlap of worlds where he has a show where somehow it started overlapping with comics, and then with Comics Gate, which I'm not a fan of or a part of. And then hilariously, now they're kind of trolling Eric July, and it's funny. It's funny. There's this guy Eric July, who's like a right wing commentator who used to do like a bunch of political stuff for like Glenn Beck's channel. Doing just like weird conservative, like, I hate this show because it has a gay person in it kind of stuff, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with like hating stuff because, you know, people in it have like different lifestyles than you lead. I feel like you got to just kind of accept everybody for what they do, right? And who they are. So anyhow, never been a fan of the Eric July guy. And then the other thing is Eric July is not really an artist, nor is he really like a writer. And so it was always weird to me seeing all the kind of like Comicsgate type folks seeing the praises of this Eric July guy who made millions of dollars. Like he made millions of dollars selling a comic called Isom. And now it's kind of like being exposed that Jim was saying, I want to see a background character wearing a Joy Division t-shirt. Just random, no other references. That would be hilarious. So now it's kind of being exposed that this Eric July guy has been defrauding a charity. So he was charging money. He was selling comics that you could buy in bulk that he would then send to charities. But it looks, and again, this is not my claim. This is just in this whole drama that I've been kind of watching. But it kind of looks like Eric July has been like pocketing a good percentage of the profits of these books and then shipping, you know, comic books to like kids with cancer, and just pocketing the financial contribution that would be a lot more helpful. So that's interesting and funny. And then I think something came out yesterday where it turns out, and this doesn't surprise me because it's part of why when people were like pressuring me to be all cool with Comicsgate people, that's part of why I was deterred by it. But it turns out they actually, I guess, July has like a list of detractors, and so like what he does is basically like keep his followers in line, and if anyone criticizes him, he moves them up on the list, like, and basically makes them more and more of a target. So basically, if you're surrounding this guy, you kind of have to be like a sycophant and kiss the ring, and if you don't, he'll put you on the detractor list. Yeah, so you have to bend the knee, which is exactly the feeling I had when I was getting threatened by a couple people involved in Comicsgate, and they were kind of pressuring me to not say anything anti-Comicsgate. And I was like, this seems like you're asking me to kiss a ring, and I don't do that. So anyhow, it's funny. It's been funny to watch comedians mess with this guy. It's been funny. So anyhow, that's been entertaining. That's all I'll say about it. But if you're bored, you should check out. There's a lawyer that I told, again, politically completely unaligned with. He's, you know, very right wing, very libertarian and stuff like that. I don't agree with him politically, but there's a very funny thing on YouTube that it might be worth checking out, where you can watch Nick Rakita basically talk to him, because I guess Eric July, because somebody showed up at his warehouse and taped dollar bills to his warehouse entrance or something. Eric July has been making threats to fill the guy with holes, like he's going to shoot him. Yeah, so he's been making like death threats to a comedian who was kind of doing a bit, and And so there's a lawyer named Nick Rakita who, like, again, is really inappropriate, and I don't agree with his political stances or anything like that. But he does talk to Eric Gillette, just kind of explaining, like, you can't just shoot someone for like if a Jehovah's Witness knocks on my door, right? I can't just open the door and shoot them because they're on my property. It's like, that's not how it works. And it does, a lot of people were arguing because it's Texas, you can. And it's like, no, that's not okay in any state. Like, no matter how free and gun toady the states are, you can't just shoot somebody for arriving, especially on a public street. So anyhow, yeah, it's funny. It's funny because I'm not really like, again, I don't know anything about July except that I've heard from a lot of people, even people who like are in the Comics Gate thing, which I'm not a part of, but I've heard from people even in it that his comics really suck. So anyhow, that was funny. It's funny to watch. But if you guys are ever bored and you see interesting drama, you could see him talking to a lawyer trying to justify murdering a comedian. And it all stems from literally one bad review of the dude's comic. Like, he couldn't handle a review that critiqued his stuff to the point of escalating it to where now he's saying he's going to shoot people. It's interesting. It's funny. And I'd encourage you guys to check it out. So anyhow, that's some drama. I don't know. It was I have to admit, it's just like funny. Maybe I'm dark and twisted in that sense, but I find that kind of stuff funny sometimes. So anyhow, okay, we're gonna draw. Now we're gonna place the characters in it. And again, this is just gonna be like a thumbnail, so we're just kind of figuring it out. There is like a carpet in front. Maybe we'll move that table. Or maybe we're in closer than that table. That actually would make more sense. So so it's going to be kind of like we're going to have like the okay, we're going to have the sofa here. The king of sofas. And then we'll kind of see where it goes. Okay, so okay. So now we're going to have our sofa area where we can have the kids. Okay, cool. Now let's add our little characters in it. So it's going to be what is it? Okay. Let's start with David and Robert in front of the fireplace. So I think what we'll do is have Robert here. And I should probably do this in a different color. Jim was saying, I want to see a background character wearing a Joy Division shirt, just a random with no other references. I like it. That would be amazing. Or maybe he could be saying that and like in the background and saying love will tear us apart to some other character who's just looking at him like, what are you wearing? Okay, okay. Oh, that's it. Okay, so the guy in the Joy Division t-shirt will walk up. This is a big giveaway of the plot. He'll walk up to Elizabeth Barrett Browning and say, "Hey, love will tear us apart." And then Elizabeth will go, "Not love, but death." And that's the sequel to Not Death But Love. It's not love, but death. And that's when Elizabeth goes on her murder campaign. That would be a great sequel to this. Not love, but death. She was a poet. They were a love story told through time, and also a murder couple. Okay, anyhow, let's do this. Okay. We're gonna have Robert here. I wanted this to be magenta 100%, and then yellow 0%. And I am a rusty bucket today. Okay, let's see here. All right, what do we got? So he's gonna be talking probably here. And he's got his chops and his kind of Abraham Lincoln thing going on. That's the thing about Robert. He's very Abraham Lincoln-esque. And I like that he's like leaning forward, leaning back a little bit with a handout. Those Brownings are always looking for a handout. That was a joke because his hand's out. I know, guys. I'm here all night. What are you guys up to? What are you guys working on? What has been going on while I've been on my like weird script writing absence from drawing or doing streams as of late? What's everybody been up to? Chris, if you're still there, how are the one-page comics going? I'm sure the channel's still building because Chris is like, man, he's a killer. He is a killer. Christopher Runciman, a amazing cartoonist. Always working on one-page comics based on people's prompts too. Okay, I want to see what this dude looks like. Okay, so he's got like chops, kind of a funny face, sort of triangular hair kind of thing going on. Okay. Mustache. Do. All right, and then we have him kind of in his what was his outfit? I think his outfit can be that. Like I said, he's wearing more of like a tie kind of thing. It's very interesting, like the different kind of fashions of like bouffants and ties and bow ties.
What's your name? Edna.
My sister-in-law just said she looks like Edna Mode, which is kind of awesome. That's awesome. I love it. That's kind of rad. I love it. I didn't actually expect that to be true.
I do.
No capes. I haven't seen that movie in forever, but I still remember that whole bit with the capes was hilarious to me when I first saw The Incredibles. Where it's talking about all the mishaps that happen with superhero capes. All right, so we're gonna kind of get this worked out.
And guess how the villain dies?
That's right. At the end, I think doesn't he have a cape disaster? Yep. Should I hired Edna? All right, so and now I'm blanking out on his name. The director who did that, he's amazing. He's the guy who did Iron Giant. Brad Bird. That's it. And I really dig Brad Bird. I don't know if I ever saw his. I think he did like a Mission Impossible, and I don't know if I ever saw that.
Was he one of those creators that ended up being a pervert?
Brad Bird? I don't think so. My wife was wondering if he was one of those guys who got canceled for doing something naughty, and I hope not.
Remember there was a bunch of
Yeah, there were. I mean, there always are like a lot of weird dudes in Hollywood doing weird, creepy things. But I don't think Brad Bird was one of them. I hope not. You should look that up, Mai, because that would bum me out. Like, it always bums me out when people I really like their output end up being creepy. Like, I really like Woody Allen movies. I love Woody Allen movies. There's some of my favorite movies in the world, and like Woody Allen is not a good dude. He is not a good man. He's a bad person. But I like his movies, and it's frustrating. It kind of stinks when you like art but not the artist. And there's times where I can kind of separate the art from the artist, and then there's some times where it's just so egregious that I can't enjoy the art. All right, so there's the first bit. So now we need. I'm just kind of figuring out placement here, even though it's a thumbnail. So Robert and David in front of the fireplace, and a Penn and Duety are going to be in the foreground playing marbles. But let's do our middle ground, and then we'll do the foreground. So Sophie and Elizabeth. Since Elizabeth speaks first, I think having her on the left might be smart. But then because she's going to be looking at since she's going to be looking at Robert, I think for staging, as much as this is silly and it's just a thumbnail, it's like I want to make sure I have this. As much as it's for staging, I think actually flipping their placement would be good.
Man, I'm gonna order food in like 10 minutes here. I think we can go. Something.
And I think we'll copy this and then flip it. Oh, why did I do that? Okay, let's go to edit, transform, flip port. Oh, not flip vertical. I probably should have just redrawn it. Probably take as much time. Reflect. Okay. It's just going to make more sense for them facing the other direction. That way I can have Elizabeth on the right or on the left. But she'll be in a position where she can look over at Robert, right? And then from there we can kind of move forward. So see where that goes. So anyhow, I'm eager to hear what you guys are working on and how everything's going. I'm really excited about getting this thing with Bill, though, with Bill Myers. It's going to be so cool. It's just a really cool script. I really hope we can get a deal for it. I don't think we'll have a problem getting a deal with it because it's like I mean, it was good enough to where I was like, yeah, I want to be a co-creator on this, and I'll like, yeah, let's make a pitch, let's get it going because it's like it's a really cool script. It's like a harder sell because it's like not a Hollywoodized thing, but I think it's like so good. It's so solid and very meaningful, and I'm very excited about it. So let's see here. So we're gonna have Elizabeth and Sophie. Okay, so Elizabeth's gonna be here, kind of talking to Sophie. She's gonna be kind of looking toward. I think they're gonna be sitting here, kind of looking toward each other. So let's see here. Try Elizabeth here. I need to like really loosen up here. Okay, so she's gonna be kind of here on the couch, and we'll just use a thicker thing so I get less fragile. Where she'll be kind of speaking to Sophie. And she's going to be kind of leaning her arm on the couch. I probably drew her way too big here, so that's okay. I'll just draw her big and then shrink her down. So she'll be kind of sitting here, gesturing her hand forward, and we'll give her another one of her kind of long-sleeved outfits, but probably more of her like traditional one here. Kind of how's that thing? And then I think this hand will be out gesturing too. Just kind of got to get looser because again, this is just a thumbnail. So, this tends to happen with me if it's been a while since I've thumbnailed. I usually start like pretty tight and then I'll loosen up. My sister-in-law responded with, "That's what she said." That's right. That's right. All right, so yeah, so she's going to be sitting here. I like the idea of her like legs being kind of crossed, maybe. And then have just the regular foot there. And let's just kind of make that happen. Boom! And we'll make it happen big. And that'll be Elizabeth, kind of there. I like how I just said that. Elizabeth? That'll be this. Wouldn't you guys love it if my whole stream was that? Where I'm just like, "Hey guys, my name is... How are you doing?" I think that would be amazing. I think it would be wildly entertaining. Who was that comedian? Oh, Bobcat Goldwave. Didn't he have kind of a crazy voice? Maybe one of us should do that kind of thing for like a art stream, you know? Just sincerely pretend that's how your voice sounds. So then what I'm going to do is... And just like, don't say anything about it. And people will be like, "Is this guy..." Like, what's wrong with this guy? After that, I'll add Robert. It's gonna be amazing. Let me know in the chats. I think a couple of viewers dropped off from hearing that, but let me know in the chats what you guys think about that idea to spice up the narration with some voices like this. All right, guys. I'm gonna take a quick break. Starting to warm up, which is good, and we're gonna rock and roll for a long time today. So this is just the beginning. Let's play an oldie but a goodie, the trailer for Jacob's Apartment. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Takes 2 seconds. Oh, but my do not say. Oh. Okay, hopefully you guys didn't hear that. All right, so I'm gonna I thought she was reading something that would be like the worst docs ever. Okay, so let's play the trailer for Jacob's Apartment. Speak clearly, it seems that only in dreams can we these things we've seen and walk around breathless.
stood at the
That was the trailer for Jacob's Apartment. If you haven't picked up a copy of that book, you should. I made it. I'm really proud of it. It's in the libraries, guys. Ask your local library to carry it if they don't have it already. Go to your local Barnes and Noble and ask them to carry it. It's still out there and you can still get it. And they can get it through the Diamond Order catalog. It's a great book. I'm very proud of it. Graphic Mundi put it out. I love that publisher. I want to support them. I think what they're doing in comics, doing more kind of like literary indie comics, real indie comics, is very important. And we need to support that kind of stuff. Yeah. So anyhow, let's go. Let's do this. Okay, so now we're gonna have Sophie. Sophie's got, I just have to remember her dress. Yeah, she's doing, well, she's probably in a different outfit at this point. I wonder if there was kind of a reference. The writer actually sends me some stuff too, like for ideas. So let's see if there was anything there. Do. The dogs are going crazy. Okay. And I think I kind of like that. Okay, so okay, I like this idea of a different kind of thing. Let's see here. Okay. So then we're going to have Sophie with a bit of a modification on her regular dress. And again, this is just a rough. Sophie's going to be here. She's going to be saying, I'm glad our... So I think I'll have her... Let's see. Drawn a little too tight still. I like the idea of her sitting kind of here. And then... Okay. And then I think her hair is usually back in a bun. Yeah. And she's always got her white rose in her hair, which was a thing about Sophie Eckler, actually, historically. So anybody who's tuning in, this is actually a historical fiction. So Sophie Eckler was a real person. And a lot of this is very true. And then we kind of filled in the gaps. So this is a historical fiction graphic novel. So then she's going to be kind of here, I guess, and she'll be, let's see, hand on Elizabeth's arm. And let's see here, what else? Where was that that reference? There it is. Okay, I'll pull that up so I can see it. Okay, and then she's going to have like a dress that's very similar, like shows shoulders and stuff like that, but because that's like kind of her style. And I want her to kind of be leaning forward almost, like turned. And they had very wide dresses at the time. Okay. And this will be, her arm will be out here kind of. I don't like that. I think maybe maybe her arm will be back like this on her back. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and fill that. Oh, that wasn't good. And move it over. Okay, have a good one. Be safe, guys. I always say that as a habit, and then after I tell somebody to be safe, which I mean, sincerely, like be safe, but it sounds kind of like a threat. It was like, be safe. I hope nothing happens. It'd be a shame if something happened to you on your way there. Yeah, anyhow. Yeah.
Mom?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It'd be a shame if we didn't get 10,000 votes for Georgia. Okay.
Tell Liza that I'll get into Pet Story at Grandma's.
I wonder if I could do that to like a different artist or something. Be like, it'd be a shame if you didn't draw my comic. I just want 122 pages drawn for me. I want them to appear. Can you make that happen? Have a phone call? All right.
Tell Liza, Mom.
Okay.
Mom? Yeah?
And
Tell Liza that I'm going to do this with her when I get to Grandma's. I told her already. She knows that.
all right.
I can't do it while I'm on the way to Grandma's. No, because there won't be enough. Because there won't be any incident. She knows that. So if you would call her back and you get there.
Eliza, well, Ben and his cousin are always playing cool video games with each other. It's pretty awesome. I like their friendship. It's nice. Okay. So then we're going to do in the foreground. This is all just like a basic thumbnail. But in the foreground, we're going to have Penn and okay. So now I actually want to change the perspective of this too. I want Penn and Doaddy like in a more kind of extreme foreground playing marbles. So maybe they're like framing it. They're gonna be playing marbles. It's marbles, Okay, so they're like 4 at the time too, so that's good to remember. So we're gonna have maybe I'm trying to think of a way to kind of do this that's like classy, but it might be cool if it's like so maybe like Penn's here. Why is this like? Oh, it's because I have it locked. I keep locking the layer. That's not good. Maybe we have Penn here, and I'm gonna have those. And the pen's hair, what does his hair look like again? Oh, it's very, okay. Very long. Okay. So I like the idea of them almost like framing it, kind of in a more like extreme angle. And then they can be like, what would he be wearing? I guess in this case, he could be wearing a similar outfit as in here. And I think that'll work. Okay. That's a way too big arm for a little kid. Okay. And I don't like that either. Like him. Okay. And then he's going to have his oh, I'm drawing this on the same. Why am I doing this on different layers? This is just the thumbnail part. I need to be a little looser. So we can actually draw through a little more because it's just a thumb, and it's mainly for me for like structure to kind of build off of. So he's going to be kind of looking down. And then he's going to have his arm kind of go in there. Then he'll have his way too big. That's kind of like a weird thing because it's like kind of going through the posture of his stuff. Okay, and then we'll have his hand there, and he's going to be sort of leaning back. Okay. And then that's going to be like a marble. And then I think we'll have the other kid who's going to look like more like this kid. Okay. And he'll be like kind of here, but more kind of. Going to be his tongue eventually. And he'll be kind of more leaning down. Because I think in marbles, you're kind of like shooting a marble at another marble, right? So this will be the kid kind of doing that, but he's going to be wearing kind of like this type of outfit. So we'll kind of do that. This will be him kind of leaning forward. And he's going to be shooting the marble. And we'll have marbles here. And here is a better framing, I think, for the thing than before. So I like the idea of kind of like having this. And then we'll have Elizabeth's text up here. It's going to be Penn found a new friend. Okay, so that's not that much text. So it'll be something like that. That'll be one text box. And then this will be, I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company. So that can be here. And that can be here. Something like that. That's where we'll kind of have roughly this stuff going on. Okay. I like that. I think that's going to do that for this one. I'm going to play. So that's going to be our first panel. I think we can squeeze another one here. Now, keep in mind, Elizabeth is on the left, Sophia is on the right. So every panel proceeding, if I can maintain having Elizabeth on the left and Sophia on the right, even if it's a shot from behind them, that's going to help sequentially for it to read really easily. So it's not crossing a line of action. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to get some water. So we're going to play Jim Lujan's amazing Wordzoid trailer. Let me know what you guys are working on. If you haven't yet, hit like and consider subscribing. If you're watching on Twitch, consider hitting follow, and we'll be right back.
Well, Peter, since I'm such a big music fan, I'm going to have to go with Karen Carpenter. Oh, Stu, I'm sorry. That's the incorrect answer. Trish, what you got for us?
I'm going to go with Kim Gordon.
All right, let's check that answer. Kim Gordon. Do we have a Kim Gordon?
Yes, and that means you're our new Wordzoid champion, Trish. Dale, tell Trish what she's won.
Trish, you've won a copy of 2 stories, a memoir of faith and mental illness. Handwritten, hand-drawn, and handed to you by artist and writer Joshua Kemble. But wait, that's not all. You've also won a copy of Jacob's Apartment, the story of a doomed romance. What happens when you take Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and put it in a blender with Ghost World? You get Jacob's Apartment, written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. Trish, thank you for playing Wordzoid.
All right, great job, Trish.
I was told I was going to get a lifetime supply of paper towels.
Love it. That's Jim Lujan's Wordzoid commercial for both of my graphic novels. You should consider picking up one of those graphic novels today if you're interested in supporting actual indie comics. Consider picking up 2 Stories or Jacob's Apartment. 2 Stories is an autobiographical graphic novel that talks about faith and mental illness. It's hand lettered, hand inked, and handed to you, and it should be a very poignant story. I've heard from people that they've been really moved by it. Most people who've read it. I don't think I've heard from anybody who actually disliked it. Now, I might be begging the question, like maybe you could be the first person to hate it. And if you want to do that, let me know. Pick it up. See what you think. It took me a long time to make. All right. So let's see here. And that's out from Marcosia Publishing as well. So, okay. Penn has found a new friend, blah, blah, blah. glad our sons enjoy each other's company. That'll be this one. So this is going to be Sophie will be on the left still. So we'll have Elizabeth here. Maybe we do a shot that's a little more of the side of her face. So this is going to be Elizabeth. She's going to be here. Oh, this is good. Okay, I'm feeling nice and like a little bit looser, which is good. And I don't like her hair coming out like following that much. So I think maybe we'll show a little more profile of her. Where she's going to be here. And she's asking, do you miss, or I'm glad our sons. Actually, she's going to be saying Penn has a new friend. And she'll have her kind of Elizabeth stuff going on. Okay, so that's going to be Elizabeth's in the foreground. And she, what else? What was she wearing? Trying to remember. It's going to have her wearing, like, she had a lot of these, like, frilly things. But in this case, it's going to be her sort of saying, I'm glad he's found a new friend, right? And then we're going to have Sophia here. Sophie Eckley is going to be saying, I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company. Let's try like more kind of downward angle. Okay, let's try this a little bit different. Let's try something like, this is why I like thumbnails, because you can just kind of rock and figure it out, like what's going to work well. I like that a little more for staging. I think I want her head tilted a little more. Let's redo that. I like her head tilted more kind of this way. There we go. Okay. So then we're going to have her saying, I'm glad our sons like blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. And then we're going to have our Sophie's response here. And Sophie will be with her kind of weird side hair and the flower thing on her hair. And her dress. And one hand up. Saying, I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company or whatever. So that'll be here. Boom. Shakalaka. And then we'll have the... Should we have Robert in the background here? Will that be too much if we have like Robert here? Well, no, this would be the sofa. The sofa they're sitting on. And then we could have maybe Robert here kind of talking with... was it Robert on the right? I can't even remember. Are we going to have Robert or... Yeah, Robert was going to be on here. Okay, so that'll be Robert kind of talking with... And Robert will be here, just kind of chatting away, kind of behind the sofa or whatever. Boom. Okay, so now we're going to have... and maybe... So to avoid tangents, maybe that can be the roof. Although that's going to create a real tangent. You know what? That shouldn't be where the roof meets. It should meet. Okay. So the roof will meet somewhere like back here to avoid that tangent. And then that way she can still have the text bubble. And Robert can be talking to, what's his name? Cool. Okay. Okay, that's going to be panel 2. Getting a little looser. This is good. Okay. So now we're going to do a little bit more. Let's see here. So this one will be, do you miss Boston? Not at all. So let's try from the opposite, where this could be there's like a rug here or whatever. Okay. This will be from the opposite viewpoint. Do you miss Boston? So this will be from the other point of view of now Elizabeth here. And Elizabeth's going to be saying, like, do you miss Boston? But Elizabeth's got her kind of thing here. I was trying to think of the... Oh, yeah, this is more like a V-neck kind of thing. But with the frills, so... And then her hands here. Maybe her hands will be like this. So then we have her saying, do you miss Boston? And that's going to be her asking that. Do you miss Boston? Then this can be Sophie. Saying, not at all. I hope we stay in Italy forever. And then this can be the couch again, kind of behind them. So don't know if that works for the couch behind them. That should actually be way lower. And that should be way more kind of toward us, like that kind of thing. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Guys, I've been on a weird sleeping schedule too, because when I was revising the script, it's just like all over the place when I was sleeping. Did a little bit of freelance too. So yeah, it's like today is the first day where I'm like adjusting to like a day schedule for all the stuff I have to do next week. And I am inherently like a super late night owl. And so that's going to be interesting to kind of see. Okay, then we're going to have our her saying wait. So this is Penna has found a new friend. I'm glad our son's enjoying. Do you miss Boston? Not at all. I hope I live in. And then this is. That is my feeling too. And then This is, I heard Mr. Home is in Florence. Oh, okay. This actually should be a bigger space for text. So actually, let's try something a little bit different with this, because I didn't like that placement. So let's actually show more of her rather than cut her off like that. And I like the idea of this being kind of more of a providing a little more space. Was her hair going to be up? I think it will be, kind of like a bun. So I actually like that more, because that kind of creates more dynamic range for them. But I also think she should be turned a little more like that. And you know what? That actually doesn't make sense. I'm trying to figure this out, how to kind of make this work. Okay, I think this would make more sense if her head is turned. So if she's kind of like more coming from like an angle like this, where you're really going to see that. And then I think we'll lower Elizabeth, and that provides us a lot more space. Okay. This is why I like rough so much. Okay, so that'll provide a little bit more space for her when it comes to it. And then I think we'll do like kind of more one of these things where it can be the couch or whatever. Wow, I am getting real sloppy here. Sloppy and loose. All right. Yeah. Okay. And I think that works. And then this can provide a little more space for that. That is my feeling too. That can come here, and then this will provide a lot more space for her text. Cool. And then I wonder if, now I'm kind of wondering if with this rough, if I'm maybe snipping it a little bit. Kind of like that for framing a little more. Okay, getting there, guys, getting there. Getting a little less sloppy and loose and more in the pocket. Well, actually, in a good way, getting sloppy and loose here. And then this next one's going to be Elizabeth is sneaking a glance at Robert. So this will be them kind of seated. Elizabeth will be here. She's going to be kind of looking back. But like pivoting so that we'll have maybe the hand here. And then we'll have Sophie here. Sophie will be just kind of looking forward. So yeah, I like the idea of her almost having her hands on her. I don't know if that's going to work well. I'm trying to think of like a good direction for her. I think maybe her arm on the couch. And then this can be her with her leg. And hand. Okay, and then this can be the couch or whatever. We'll kind of work this out a little bit more. And they're looking over to Robert, who is in the middle of a conversation with Robert's going to be here, just kind of conversing with, if we can silhouette it better too. So Robert will be here kind of conversing, like he's just like blah, 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 right? And then we got our other guy here, David, and he's going to be like blah, 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 blah. All right. So that'll be a good thing. So that's just her looking over to him. So let's go ahead and fill that out. And again, this is just thumbnails. So honestly, I'm going way too tight on this, but I just needed to warm up a little bit. So that's her looking back to Robert with her arm kind of here. And again, like a lot of this we can even work out and clarify with the rough stage, because we're just doing thumbs at this point. I want this to be clear that she's looking over there. Hand up. And then this can be her dress or whatever. So that'll be filled out. Then we'll have Sophie here. Sophie's got her kind of thing here, and gonna have her kind of dress. Her dress has this kind of thing. Sophie is here, and the couch cushion, we'll kind of build it out. Okay, and then we'll have our thing here, and Robert is then having his thing, talking to David, arm out, and David, who's got these things and like a more kind of triangular kind of thing going on. Maybe he has like his arms crossed, leaning back. Cool. And then we have this. I think her head needs to be more clearly turned that direction. There we go. Cool. Now that's going to be her turning in that direction, kind of looking. And now let's do our okay. And we'll end with a wide shot. with her saying like the subject is off limit at our house. How's the head here? Something like that. Okay, I like that. Okay, so that's going to do it for now for our thumbnails. So now that we finished our thumb, I'm going to basically blow it up and then we'll work on our rough. They're kind of, I know it's like real loose and kind of weird and then too tight in the beginning, but that's okay. That's kind of like, again, I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, so just kind of warming up. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is kind of turn these to blue line. And then we'll kind of, now I don't think we need our shot list, which is kind of nice. So I can turn that off wherever I put that. And then I think we can, I like this layout that I've done for the references that I can turn on and off. So I'll just move them all and try to remember it's everything up to Victorian Dude. And then I think what we'll do is, I think these are all trash layers. So I'm kind of cleaning up my layers here. And then I think what we'll do is kind of move from here to a kind of more finalized rough, and then we'll call it on this rough. But since we're finished with this part, we will play another trailer. How's everybody doing? It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. I hope it's a good one for you guys. Hope everybody's having a good day. Now that's kind of what I'm going to do for now until we come back. So that's our rough, and then what we'll do is work on our panel borders from there. So I'm going to go ahead and call this thumb, and then we'll work from there. And I'll work on my panel borders in a second, and then we'll, obviously do our tighter roughs over that. So, okay, here is the trailer for Kids Say Kemble, another Jim Lujan cartoon.
We know that Georgia kids say the craziest thing.
So, little Susie, do you have any brothers or sisters? I understand you're in 3rd grade. How do you like that? Do you like your teacher? You like to do a lot of fun things at school? You got any hobbies, Susie? Any things you like to do when you're not in school? I hear you like to read.
Well, right now I'm reading 2 stories written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It grapples with faith and mental illness. It's ultimately a story about redemption. It's a savage piece of writing. Also, I just finished up Jacob's Apartment, another one by Kemble. Jacob's Apartment weaves together elements of spiritualism and relationship dynamics, as well as atheism, and all the while it deals with abandonment and loyalty. It's a fierce read.
Do you like ponies?
Wasn't that fun? That was Jim Lujan and his awesomeness. And then we're going to basically rule out our panel borders, and we'll adjust our rough underneath in a second, just to kind of make that work. I think here we can kind of keep a lot of it. This is just like a generic kind of template I have for pre-existing panels that have already been done. So why recreate the wheel? Like when it comes to roughs, and then like we build it out and stuff like that from there. We're just making roughs, so not a big to do. Okay, so now I will tell you, man, there's artists that are way quicker than me that I always envy quite a bit. But I'm able to kind of pull it off and work with the time that I can do things, you know. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna do our rough here. Here we'll again kind of erase that out. We're just doing our rough panel borders now. It should probably go all the way there, and then here, boom. And then we've got our kind of panel bordery thing here. Oh, boom, done. Okay. And again, these are just roughs for the publisher, so they're going to flesh it out a little more. And I sometimes will forget to like do the blue line underneath, which like speeds up the process a million times to getting the rough done. We are getting towards dinner time, so at some point, what I'm going to do is probably finish up this rough, and then we'll do a break, and I'll do dinner, and then I'll come back and stream again. I love Jim's idea of a background character wearing a Joy Division t-shirt in Victorian England. I still like the idea of kayaking bears and things like that. Whenever the opportunity arises, I will mention this. When I'm doing a page that's not specific characters and has a lot of background elements and stuff like that, that's where let's see pen. That's where you know, I might do super chats for people to like be a guest, like have a little drawing of themselves in the background. But that is not going to be happening on this page because, yeah, it's just not possible. Because there's no crowd. This is just a bunch of kids or people that actually exist, not kids. I'm drawing a kid, so I was thinking kids. And this is going to be where we just kind of fill it out. So, but he's a kid, so he's going to have like chubbier cheek kind of going on and a higher nose, actually. There we go. Something to that extent. And then he's going to have his like kind of longer hair or whatever. Probably a bigger forehead. Boo, boo, boo. And okay. And then he's going to be kind of leaning forward again, doing his little game. I think I made his arm a little too long here, so that's easy. An easy peasy fix. And here we're getting into more specifics of like what this is going to look like. So he needs like a higher shoulder too. Okay, and then we're going to have this be his kind of wider rimmed thing here. And then we'll have He has almost like a belt, but it's kind of weird because it should be a little higher. I'm definitely making his proportions like too old. I think I'll have to increase the size of his head to make this work. Because I'm drawing him almost like he's the age that is in the reference picture, which obviously will not work very well. So here he's going to be wearing those kind of jeans or whatever. And then we're going to do, let's turn this off. And then clearly we got to increase the head quite a bit. And that's a little more kid proportion there. Kids are like way more kind of tiny. It's a little out of proportion, but it's a rough. Let's see here. And then we can do, okay, let's see, Doaddy or whatever. Was that this? It's going to be Doaddy. And Doaddy is going to be here. Separate. I like to do that just for the roughs too, because then I can recycle if I need those same borders the next time. So we'll do that as a rough area and have that here. And then this can kind of move to here. Okay. Now let's do our Doaddy thing. Where is Doaddy? Where are you, dude? Where did I put you? I think here. Okay. So let's do that. So that can be this. I'm wondering if I need to open the door for them because I think they just got back from the little adventure. And he's going to have hair back a little bit. And he's going to be shooting marbles. Okay, and this will be. I wonder if he should be doing the Let's get his hand right. I think his arm would be more here. Okay, and he is kind of more laying on the ground. Okay, cool. And we'll do that. So that's going to be that. And then this will be Elizabeth. Elizabeth's going to be here. And what's she saying? Penn has found a new friend. And It's Elizabeth, so she'll have kind of bags under her eyes. Always does. She had very like deep set eyes. Her hands are going to be here. And she's going to have she tended to wear these like kind of tiered skirts, and so I kind of think we'll do that still, like another tiered skirt, because it just seemed like her kind of fashion sense at the time. And then maybe this will have like those frilly things at the bottom. So that'll be her saying, what is she saying? Penn has found a new friend. So this will be text. Penn, let's do a wider. Penn has found a new friend. And that'll be here. Again, we'll do more clear panel borders and bubbles and stuff like that as we get to final. So we're getting closer. And then this will be Sophie saying, I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company, but let's draw her. And then it's going to be rose in her hair. So there's a white rose up here. That's going to be her. And she's wearing that dress that I was kind of going to do, a tiered dress. By the way, if you guys haven't yet, hit the like button if you enjoy these streams. And also let me know what you're working on. It's always fun to get a dialogue going about kind of what projects we're all individually working on. Because like I always love the fact that these streams are always a pretty fun way to kind of like for us all to get art done together during our crazy work weeks and stuff like that. So yeah. So then this will be her kind of leaning forward. And she's going to have a dress that's a little more, she needs to be, actually, I don't kind of mind that she's kind of leaning forward more. So she's going to be wearing a dress that's a little more kind of tapered, but it will be like a Victorian era dress. So it's going to go back more like that. And they're on the couch. So let's see the couch. Where is the couch? There we go. Couch kind of wobbles a little bit down. So it's going to basically be like a wide couch that kind of goes to the end here. I need a thicker thing. So the wide couch is going to go here. And that'll go to here. I'll go to here. Maybe there's a pillow here. That might be nice. And we've got our couch. The cushions kind of almost end there. Very Victorian era couch. They're playing on the rug, so the rug is going to be like here, and that'll be like a bunch of marbles. A bunch of marbles, I'm telling you. A bunch of marbles. Tell you what, with those balls. These kids got some balls, you know? Okay, then we're gonna do our thing here. Okay, and then this is gonna kind of get the way out here. And I think there's like a pattern on the rug. Okay, and this will be her saying, I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company. Right here. I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company. That's not good. It should say, I'm glad our. Okay, so we need to stack it. So it should be, I'm glad our sons enjoy each other's company. And I like to work this stuff out before we go to final because it's just way better so that I can know like how much space we're filling up here. Company. Okay. And we'll move that over just a little bit for the rough, for coherency. Coherence, I think. I don't think coherency is a word. Welcome to my coherency stream. I'm going to be the most coherency person on the coherent planet. Okay, so we're going to move this over, like just to kind of, you know what? I don't like that placement. Because I feel like now that it's taking up less space, I think it should actually be like right here. So it kind of creates like a, almost like a natural step to the other kid's head without overlapping Robert, who will be in that background area. So now we're going to do this. And then it can be here. Good. Okay, and let's do... now we'll do David and then Robert, and then we will be really close to finish on the rough for panel 1. Is that okay? So here's David. David's going to be on the left. So let's see. Can I make this smaller? I can, I think. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to make it smaller. Just that way I can kind of zoom in a little more. Okay, and we're going to draw drawings of David. I had an art teacher once that used to say drawings. She was pretty amazing. At the JC, before I went to my BFA, like before I went on to get that, I went to a junior college. And that's before masters and all that stuff. And there was this art teacher. She would use a peacock feather, like as a pointer when she was drawing, or doing like examples of what we should do in class and stuff like that. She was rad, but she would also say like, you guys, when you're working on your drawings, I always thought that was really neat. the idea of saying drawings is really funny to me. I think he has like a bit of a mustache, so that's good. And he's going to be kind of here with his... That looks too kind of rigid. I think his... Yeah, there we go. And then he's going to have his lapel. Go to a tie. And there he is talking. And then we're going to have Robert here. And Robert we're pretty familiar with, so don't think I need to reference him. And he's going to be kind of talking. He doesn't have a bottom beard, though. Like, that's the thing. It's just the mustache. Okay. And he has no mustache, so I don't know why I was drawing that. Okay, there we go. And then we'll have Robert have his kind of combed hair there. He always has the flipped up thing. He'll be back in his brown suit. That's like his regular outfit for this. And rework his arm a little bit there. And that's going to be them kind of talking, and then we're going to do our background. I can just move here. Boom. And we'll kind of move from there. So, okay. So let's do our background, which is going to be... Here will be the mirror kind of thing. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, and the mirror is going to kind of have a thing that goes here. And then here is going to be the fireplace, which will have a fire going. And then there should be, if we step over here, there's kind of this circular thing. And then that's going to be here. And there's like a little candle stick thing here. And this is going to have a sort of dresser on the side. So we're kind of modifying as we go so that it's a little more accurate. There should be like a chair here. That'll be sort of coming forward more in the foreground. And that'll be kind of like a thing here. What do we have? Another thing here. Ba 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 ba. Okay. And then this dresser goes 3 down. And then one kind of thing there. This has another thing. There's going to be like some faux stuff here. There's a tea kettle-ish thing. There's a frame. Might have given that a little too much distance, so let's see, there's a wider frame here. That's where the Joy Division poster will go for Jim. This will be the bigger image. I don't know if it's that wide. And then we'll have our other thing here, our other frame, and some sort of faux patterns here. And then here we'll have our, similarly here, it's going to go all the way to the drawer. That'll be our corner. There will be a closed door there, but that's okay. There will be a circle kind of thing here, a rectangular one, another kind of rounded frame, this thing, and kind of go through it, have this. Then we'll have our sort of top. That'll go like this. And then we'll have our interesting roof. And I think here is going to be where you have the door, but we're doing kind of a much more forced perspective. So this will be a much wider kind of gap. With a door. And then here we'll have the bookshelf starting. So this will be like, you know, where you start seeing the books. And that should be a much smaller door. But at least we're starting to see some stuff here. And then the book frame can kind of go like this. And we'll have our bookshelf. It's going to have books here that are kind of like interesting books. Corner of a sculpture. Corner of the room here. Roof. And then here, we're not going to see much of anything except maybe the background of this lamp. It's going to be here. But we aren't doing lamps. We're doing that kind of rounded lamp thing. Okay, and then here will be more books. And I think we've got our rough for panel 1 done. So we'll go here. That gives us like a real nice kind of look, and then we'll shade it real quick, and then we'll move on to the next panel. And as usual, I will probably take a very quick break, as I like to kind of take breaks between panels. Let's establish the lighting here. So I think I want it to feel really warm when we make the final. So it's probably going to be like lit from the center, very much like a centerpiece kind of thing. So we want this to feel kind of warm and very symmetrical, so that as things get a little more chaotic, they can become a little more asymmetrical. And then we're going to have some side shadows here. Robert's here. There's a little bit of shadow there. Elizabeth's going to be shaded by the side, casting a shadow on the couch. She has dark hair, kind of backlit a little bit. She's going to be casting a shadow this way. A little bit of a shadow here as it goes down. Definitely shadows on the front. We're going to be kind of casting a shadow from the couch. I'll have like them. Kids will have the marbles will be casting a shadow. And again, like these roughs function to just kind of let the publisher know, like, this is the staging, this is kind of the lighting we're going to be doing. This is just like a rough idea of what the final will look like. And so I'm pretty content with that for panel 1 rough. We'll move forward to panel 2 rough in a second. So let's put on a trailer and then we'll get into the next one. So here is the trailer for, let's do Christopher Runciman's review of Jacob's Apartment. And we'll continue after this.
Hi, my name's Chris and I like comics. I want to talk about this comic for a second here. I just got this in. I ordered it direct from my local comic shop through Diamond Distributing. It's Joshua Kemble's Jacob's Apartment. I really enjoyed this book. There's all kinds of comics out there, let's be honest. There's fun comics, there's superhero comics, there's young adult comics, there's adventure comics for kids. There's so many different things under the planet. But there's also an entire subgenre of alternative books. Real life, real world depictions in comic book form. Situations that happen to each and every one of us. And this is a fine example of that. If you get a chance, order this book from your local comic shop. You won't be disappointed. I can't sing its praises high enough. Okay? Check it out. Jacob's Apartment by Joshua Kemble.
All right, we're back. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well. We're getting through it. Rocking some comics. I hope you guys are working on cool stuff. I am extremely excited about kind of getting back in the flow of like knocking these things out. So in theory, that should be kind of fun. For anybody tuning in just now, I kind of announced at this that I'm going to be working with Bill Myers on a proposal or a pitch for a graphic novel that we wrote the script for. I actually like that a little more with more negative space for her. So, yeah, so that'll be kind of fun. And what we're working on right now is page 87 of Not Death But Love, The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. When I'm doing roughs and stuff like that, I can't do like commentary or anything like that because honestly, it's just like I'm thinking about the story sequence, indications of what expressions I'm going to have on the final. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're doing there. That should actually be here. That is the weirdest nose I've ever drawn in my life. Okay, and then from there we're gonna get into finals and stuff like that. But I have to bust out the next chunk of roughs for the publisher. I don't like her eyes being like that. They should be a little more. Yeah, there we go. So now she's gonna have her kind of Elizabeth hair. We're gonna do that. Probably the angle will be a little less extreme, which is kind of what happens. Okay. And that's going to be her just kind of speaking. And here she's going to have her arm just barely in frame. And she's going to be saying, what is she saying here? Do you miss Boston? So I made way too much space for her. Do you miss Boston? Question mark. I don't like leaving orphan type, so I always want to have things in twos at least, because when you have just a single word in a word balloon, it just looks really weird. Do you miss Boston? Boom. And then it's like, what's she saying here? Not at all. I hope we stay in Italy forever. Not at all. I hope we stay in it should be not at all period, and then I think we'll have the okay, got it. And then it'll say in Italy forever. 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 So yeah, it's been a really neat week of like a lot of possibility, but a lot of like things that are just kind of up in the air that required a lot of work. Again, to get the subbing thing going in the interim, just because like that's a nice little fill-in thing, while other irons are in the fire or whatever. It's been like it's just requires so much paperwork and nonsense to kind of get that going. But it's good that it does, right? Because you don't want like for it to not be a process that like requires a little bit of vetting, right? Because your kids are there, so. But it's like, so that's all set up, and then getting that all worked out, and then finishing up that script was like, and then a couple other potential things that I'm waiting on have just consumed like a whole week. And for me, it's like a week is a long time, man. Like to not be working on drawing, especially comics, you know. So so there we go. We've got Sophie saying that her arm is going to be here. And she's going to have 2 fingers out. And this is the couch. It's kind of a weird couch. So the couch is going to be kind of rounded, and then it goes down and here. And I don't think we're going to see much more of the couch off screen. And then this will be Robert from a little bit of a lower angle. So we might see like... And then he's going to be sort of leaning forward. And then this will be the ceiling, which is way higher up. So now I want to look at my previous thing and see, okay, what else? There's a mirror here. It's going to kind of do that thing, creating a tiny bit of a tangent, which is kind of annoying. Make sure. Okay, and then there's going to be some of those things, and I'm going to have our ceiling. And we'll work out more specifics and stuff about the perspective as we go. But for now, you know, this is how that's going to work. And then this will be kind of that vaulted sort of ceiling top that had like a little thing here. It's going to be the doorway. Okay. So now we're going to do our shading again. Give her actual skull. That would be good. Kind of reminds me of the Misfits song, I Want Your Skull. Anyhow, so here we go. We got that going. But yeah, it's been a really fascinating week because it's definitely a time of transition and change, and like the job I did for about a decade, like making the choice to kind of move on from there and explore other things. It's just been like, you know, anybody going through that, it's not like I'm unique on that. Like, I think going through that's always a lot of transition, a lot of change, not all negative. Like, in fact, my mental health has been like a million times better. And I'm excited about the opportunities that'll come and where I will end up. So, but it's been just like a fascinating ride, but I've missed you guys. I've missed the live streams. I've missed kind of hanging out and working on art together. And I always love hearing what you guys are working on and stuff like that as well. So here is this panel, which is going to be fairly and this should be kind of here. Cool. Whew. 2 panels in. Let's get one more done. I don't want to run through all the break material right just yet. So let's get 2 more of these suckers done. That's right. Sucker MCs have no idea. You know what I mean? Okay, let's do this. Let's get on to this. Okay, this will be... That is my feeling too. That is my feeling too. And this will be let's see if we can get let's try Elizabeth, and then we'll see where we get from there. So I think this being more of a that. Let's see Elizabeth's outfit again. Okay. And we're just kind of going to noodle this part to just kind of clarify like what the pose is going to be and stuff like that. Did I have like the frilly? Yeah, these aren't frilly, but they're going to be like just kind of long. And this will have more of that kind of dress thing going. And this will be the part where she says, I heard. Okay. Here we go. It's going to be her saying, I heard Mr. Home is in Florence. When we met in London, I could see you admire him. Okay. So it's going to be, I heard Mr. Home is in Florence. When we met in London, I could see you let's try this. Let's see. Admired him very much. Crap, it's not working with the stacking the way I like it to, so we're going to have to move some type around. They have returned.
Your people.
My people have come home.
Daddy and I have had some fun playing.
Nice, grandma. My son's grandma and their dog had a play date with our dog as we're kind of dog sitting. Very much. And I think I'm going to put Mr. Home up here. This is just to kind of work out type placement before I have to type it in and stuff. That way, once we get to the final, it just goes real quick. Because if you know all your stacking and stuff like that, it's not too bad. Okay, so we're going to do our...
I mean, I have been talking to her all day, so.
You know what? We need to move home back. Home is not going to work. Home is not going to work in that spot. So it should work here and allow for less awkward space once we get to the final one. Boom. That's what we need. All right. There we go. And now we're going to do, I'm just going to move this a little bit because now that spacing isn't going to work. It's just too tight, which I had a feeling would kind of be the scenario. But that'll allow just a little bit more breathing room. And let's see here. So now we're going to add our Sophie, kind of having her... She's going to have really, like, a distinguishing feature on her is she has really big eyes. So that's always going to be a distinguishing feature about her. And
You're so cute.
I do this. It's going to come down a little bit. And then she has her ear. And this will be her neck. Maybe we can have just the indication of the flower, even if that's cheating. It's just cool for her to always have that distinguishing flower. This is a very strange shot. It might be too wide. And we're getting there. That's like way too high. It would actually be different because I think actually what we'll see here is I think Elizabeth should be just a little bit bigger, actually, now that I see this. Like, I like the extremeness of it, but I think we'll have to kind of make that a little more realistic. Something like that. Which I think works a little bit better rather than distorting reality so they can kind of fit together. And then this can be okay here. Which will be more kind of realistic. Okay, so then I don't think we're going to see much background. Will we be seeing a little bit of Eckley? I think we would. So he's going to be probably about here. And his head's covered. That's okay. We'll have our kind of mirror thing there. We can have the other stuff. Like there's like a fireplace thing in here. That's going to be the mirror, or not mirror, the portrait. And then there's another portrait up here. And this would actually be higher up because it's going to be bigger. And we'll probably have it underlap a little more here so that it's like taking less of a tangent. Same with here, even if that would be there, we'll move it just to avoid tangential nonsense. And then we'll have our again, yeah, I think this will be higher. And I think that's it for that. So now we'll shade this and see what we can do and move on from there. So if you're just tuning in, we're working on roughs for Not Death But Love, The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Page 87. I'm going to be doing a batch of roughs to kind of send to my publisher so they can review, see if they like the compositions and the layouts and text and the flow. And then from there, we'll kind of go to final on these pages. But I want to do a chunk, like 5 to 10 of them. Be good. I don't know if I like the lighting as it's established here, so I kind of want to make it a little more extreme. That's a little better. Okay. So we'll save, and then I'm going to go to a trailer, and then we will, when I come back, we're going to just knock through the rest of this page. So if you haven't yet and you're watching this, please hit like, and I'm talking to you specifically. I know you're watching this and thinking, yeah, I'll hit like after. No. Hit it now, because that actually really helps the algorithm and helps build our community. And it's a nice way to just kind of give back if I'm keeping you company during whatever. Just give me a like, and that'll do it. And for now, and I'll be right back after this message from myself. Well, actually, this one will be from Philip Chandler, who's a friend of the show.
Hi, my name is Phil Chandler. I'm a freelance artist, illustrator, and cartoonist. Today, though, however, I want to tell you about a graphic novel I picked up recently called Jacob's Apartment. This book was both written and beautifully illustrated by Joshua Kemble. It is a story of a doomed romance that causes the main character to question his beliefs and his faith, while he's also going through other tragedies in his life. Every page has been illustrated by hand and digitally colored with painstaking detail. It is an emotional story that causes you to think and even question things in your own life. And while the story is a tragedy, it is one that I was completely entertained by and I highly recommend. You can currently find this on Amazon, or even check in with your local bookstore and see if you can order it. And while you're at it, you can also check out my Instagram at Phil Chandler Arts, and also my YouTube channel by the same name, Phil Chandler Arts. And go buy Jacob's Apartment.
Thanks to Philip for that. That was awesome to get from him. And now we're just going to continue and finish up our roughs for page 87 of Not Death But Love, The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And that is what we're working on as we speak. So that's going to be Elizabeth looking over. She has kind of wackier hair than that, though. Need to kind of remember that. And then she's going to be turning like so. With kind of rotating, basically, her hips a little bit. Well, not even her hips, but and this will be her. What's it going to do with her hand? Oh, her other arm is going to be here. Okay, and then this will be the couch that kind of has that rounded thing. This is going to be Sophie. That's a huge chin. It's also a huge eyebrow. Excuse me, my allergies are so awful. I'm kind of surprised I've gotten this far on stream. That's another reason it's been a while since I've live streamed. This is like allergy season for me, especially in the desert. It gets real bad this time of year. And Sophie's going to be wearing her dress. And let's see if we have that referenced. Okay, this will be more kind of down at this point, and
No.
does May have the kettle going? Because it's whistling. Okay, and then we're gonna do our arm here. So yeah, it's been a fascinating few weeks. But I have to say, man, if you guys want to watch some funny drama, regardless of what side of the spectrum of comics or politics you are, I have to say, check out the crazy July versus Masterson thing. It's pretty hilarious. If you're into, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like Jerry Springer almost, I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, we have some stuff going here. That's way too high. I think we established that it's a little bit lower than that. It dips in. That's why I was messing up. It needs to actually dip down. What, girl? What? Oh, okay. It's actually kind of like a wider couch, and then when I see it, it kind of goes to the side, so it actually goes behind them. I was kind of doodling it wrong. So that should actually be a little wider, which will make it a little less awkward. And again, this is a rough, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Kind of erase out stuff so that it's a little more clear what's going on. And this is going to be, again, that dude on the... Let's see him one more time. I'm less familiar with drawing him, so I need to kind of see him. Do. Boop, 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 boop.
cold and ticklish.
Cut.
It's cold and ticklish.
Let me check your nose.
It's cold and ticklish.
Sorry, baby.
That thing's cold and ticklish. It's cold on the wet end.
I don't know why that was there.
And this will be the
Eliza keeps calling Ben. Let me just call her you're taking the bath now, okay?
I'm not in the bath right now. Just tell her I don't want to talk to her right now.
Okay.
okay. So then we're gonna have our fellow here, and he's got like more of a relatively like modern looking vibe going. Okay, I think we're good for that. And then we're going to just do our Robert, probably make him a little more in proportion. And there we go. And then we're going to do our cool. So then we're going to do the background and we'll be done with this panel, which is pretty exciting. So they have the fireplace still here, which is going to be here. We'll have the kind of fire going. And then there will be the mirror, which is going to be here. And that has like kind of a crazy kind of thing going. Here. And then we'll, from there, do our two kind of rounded things. They're almost like framing it. And then just kind of start putting in our picture frames. And I believe there's like a rounded frame here. I think there's 4 of these kind of squarer frames. And then there was a kind of like a frame here. I believe we have like another frame here. We have a lower kind of thing here. And then believe that just goes all the way to the end where we'd have the corner of the room. And I don't even think we'll see the roof. So I think that'll do it for that. And now we can just add some shading here. So this one's no text. It's just Elizabeth kind of staring back at them. And just adding some lighting. And we'll kind of move from there. Robert needs a skull. A little scrawny in this panel. Again, it's a rough, so I'm not like super worried, but it doesn't hurt to have some indications that'll be of the final. Okay. We are almost done with the roughs for page 87. So now we're going to do our final, and then we'll all take a break for dinner. So that's basically what we're going to do here. And then we're going to have the text here that says that subject is off limits in our house. I don't like that tail having to go that far, so I think what we'll do is instead we're going to adjust that. That's why roughs are great. You just kind of slap it around and make it work. So I'm going to actually make that here, and then I'm going to do kind of the word balloon there, and then that way when it goes from her mouth, it'll be here. So now this will be Elizabeth, and she's going to be saying... that subject's off limits in our house. Yeah, I had it. Thank you. No, it was nice. Thank you. Unless it's still there. I think I drank it, though. But thank you. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to kind of the flow of working on comics again, and getting on a relatively normal schedule. I should be streaming more often too, because again, I'm going to be on a more kind of frequent schedule, and so that should be, a little more feasible. So like now that I'll be on a day schedule in the next, week or whatever, I think that should be all very achievable and doable. So then this kind of goes down. This is going to be the hair, and then the rose that will be in her hair, and this will be going down and then heading up over to a edge of the couch, which actually might not be bad to kind of show a little bit of, to just kind of make it more clear what the viewpoint is here. I think this guy I might have figured out a little more. Especially from this angle. That is such a tangent there. Okay. There we go. And this will be Robert. And that's going to be him sort of chilling, getting his conversation going. And then we'll have the mirror here. Kind of wackier mirror. And then we'll have our pictures kind of stuff. And here we can have the couch kind of going a little higher. The back should be more of a back. Then we can have the maybe like the back of a frame. Could go here, and then we can have our roof, which will be more kind of clear when it's okay. And I think our roughs are done. That basically did it. I'm glad that I started getting a little looser toward the end. And I think next time I won't do as much detail. I might just do like the structural shapes, because it goes a lot quicker to just go, do your rough over the structural shapes rather than all that crazy detail that then ends up being a lot more off because you're not as loose when you're working on it. So, but I feel like by the end of this stream, I was working a lot quicker and looser than at the beginning. And hopefully that kind of just, goes quicker and quicker each time. But I have to say, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications when we're about to go live. If you're watching this on Twitch, I would ask that you hit follow. Likes go a long way, so if you haven't clicked like, please do. And consider supporting my finished comics. If you want to see what they look like and stuff, check out Jacob's Apartment and Two Stories. And stay tuned for the collaboration I'm going to be working on with Bill Myers. But for now, that's going to do it for this stream. And maybe I will do another shortly. But and probably work on like page 88's roughs. But we finished it, we did it, and now I am super hungry, so I'm gonna go eat. I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you on the next live stream. I appreciate you guys for coming in. Every single person who supports or watches my work is really valued by me. It doesn't go unnoticed, and you guys are a great community. So I will see you on the next live stream. And goodbye.